Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Diana, and on this channel I make seasonal living videos with a witchy twist. And I don't know about you, but I'm still in winter hibernation mode. I don't feel the energy or call to start doing things and getting into the swing of the new year, like spring cleaning or organizing or anything like that yet. So for this super cold day, I thought it would be fun to just hibernate and do some cozy activities like reading. I think I might do a puzzle and maybe cook something really yummy. I want to just cozy up with my blankets. Nyx is outside right now, but I know when she comes in, she'll come snuggle with me on the couch so I can read, drink my coffee, and whatever other warm beverages I decide to make, and just have a cozy day at home. I'm also working on a cross-stitch project that I started before the holidays, and then I set it to the side because I just couldn't focus on it throughout the stressful holiday season. But I want to keep working on that. I'm getting really close to finishing it. So grab a cozy beverage of your own and settle in with me while we have our cozy day. I'm currently reading Wuthering Heights, which I read in high school, like probably many of us did. And I wanted to refresh myself before I see the movie, which from everything I've seen, the movie is going to be very different from the book. But I still wanted to refresh myself because I loved this book in high school. So I wanted to just reread it, and I thrifted this gorgeous copy. I don't even remember if I got it at a thrift store or from Thrift Books. Like I might have picked it up on Thrift Books and just got lucky and got sent this really beautiful copy. It's actually a Reader's Digest version, but the cover has the beautiful gold detailing of the leaves. And if I'm being honest, it's not exactly what I remember from high school, but it's still like I want to finish it. It's just funny how the things that struck you as a child, essentially, like as a teenager, and how you just see it differently as an adult. But it's really interesting, and I think that's what I'm going to be reading on this cold, blustery day. this is my, I have to be able to see the holes. This is my second attempt, I guess, in trying to do cross stitch. I tried to pick it up a couple years ago and I had a hard time getting into it, and I think it's because I picked a simple pattern that was too simple. It was a celestial pattern, surprise, surprise, it was a moon, and it was on white Aida cloth, and it's a black moon, and I think some gold around it, but then it was a whole white field, and the nonstop white on white, it was just not holding my attention, and I struggled to actually want to do it, and it's just still sitting in a bag in my closet. But I've been fascinated with the art of it and the process. Like it's obviously like meditative and something that it keeps your hands busy, but it doesn't take like a ton of focus. And I used to crochet quite a bit. It was my main hobby for a long time, and I just kind of got burnt out on it in 2020. I crocheted all of my Christmas gifts that I gave to family because it was COVID lockdown, and I was binging TV shows and crocheting all day. And I just kind of got burnt out, and I stopped having inspiration of things to make. I got a little bit jaded with patterns because I would buy patterns to make clothes, and I'm a tall person. I've said this a few times in videos, and one of my favorite pattern makers that I followed a lot, she was very petite, and it took me too many patterns to realize that her patterns just would not work for me. Even with modifications and things, it just didn't look the same. They just weren't for my body. So I just got kind of jaded with crocheting, and then I started sewing like after 2020. So then that helped kind of bridge the gap a little bit with crafts, but it's not the same. Like sewing is kind of like you sit down and do it at a machine. It's not something at least it's not something that I can do while like watching TV, or just something to pick up in the evenings to do something for a little while and then put it down. But cross stitch has been that so far, and I found this book, Magickal Cross-Stitch by Lindsay Swearingen, and it has these gorgeous patterns that are witchy inspired, which this is going to be the next one that I do, the Wheel of the Year. I ordered some of the threads to get started on it because I want to do it for each Sabbath, so I'll be able to kind of cross stitch my way throughout the year, and I want to do it as kind of like a meditation of the seasons. So once I finish this one, which is called Gathering Basket, and so I've done most of the basket, and I still have to do this little border around, but it's been really fun, and I want to find a frame for it. I want to do all of the patterns in this book, but this is where I'm at so far, and I just enjoy. I'm waiting on the threads for this part, and then for the border. And there, I don't know if you can see, but there's like little kitty paw prints because I have to hide it in the closet when I'm not working on it, because I don't want the cats to mess it up, and I don't want them to get in the string. So I hide it, but then if they happen to get in the closet, then they jump on it and have their little, when I say they, I really mean Jupiter. I learned how to make this chicken noodle soup while working in a restaurant. I think it's the best chicken noodle soup, personally, because it has the perfect balance of ingredients, but it's also easy. But I also like that you can make this as simple or as fancy as you like. So we're going to start with a mirepoix, which is equal parts onion, carrots, and celery. And I never weigh ingredients. I just kind of measure with my eyes and with my heart. So for this recipe, because I'm making a big pot, it's going to be about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of each vegetable, the onions, carrots, and celery. When I'm really in a hurry and I want to make this even faster, I will use shredded carrots, like pre-shredded carrots you can buy at the store. But tonight I really wanted some hearty pieces of carrots, so I went ahead and got whole ones, but definitely feel free to use pre-chopped veggies if that makes it easier for you. When the mirepoix is almost ready, go ahead and add some garlic and stir until it becomes fragrant. You don't want to cook the garlic too long because it will burn in the oil if you cook it too long. Next, we're adding chicken broth. For this large batch, it's going to be 8 cups of chicken broth. And now for the secret ingredient that makes this the best chicken noodle soup is condensed cream of chicken soup. It takes it from a more watery, thinner broth to a rich, thicker broth that just makes it so much more hearty and adds so much richness to the flavor. And just whisk that in there. While the broth is coming to a boil, we're going to take the skin off the chicken and remove the bones. If you're using other chicken, like some other boneless chicken left over from something else, just chop it up into the pieces or shred it. You could shred this as well. I like to use rotisserie chicken because it makes it easy and fast, but you could also cook chicken in the broth. It'll just take a lot longer, but you just want to make sure you thoroughly remove the bones and chop it up into pieces that are suitable for soup. Once the broth is boiling, we're going to add the noodles. I like to use these specific egg noodles, not the curly kind. I just like the texture of these and how they cook up, and they don't swell too much and get too mushy. I'm adding a little bit of salt and pepper just to taste. And we're going to let this boil for half of the cooking time of the noodles. And while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and start my grilled cheese. Now we're going to add the chopped chicken to the soup to let it cook the remaining time for the noodles. You'll want to bring it back up to a good boil. It takes 10 to 12 minutes to get the noodles to be their correct texture. So about 5 minutes, no chicken, and then 5 to 6 minutes after you add the chicken back. And then you're ready to add your final seasonings. If you're using dry seasonings, it's best to add them at the end because the high heat of cooking destroys the flavor of dried spices. So I'm adding a little bit of dried rosemary, thyme, and then parsley, and stir it up, and then it's time to eat. Chicken noodle soup is often thought of as something to eat when we're sick, but I think it's the perfect meal for a hibernation day when you just need something warm and cozy and filling to stave off the cold of winter. My last activity for the day was to work on this jigsaw puzzle. I picked it up because it has 3 cats on it, which reminds me of my 3 cats. There's the black cat, which is obviously Jupiter. And then there is a tuxedo cat that is Celine, and a gray and white cat that is Penny. It's more of a tabby on the puzzle, which Penny is a little bit tabby. So it made me think of them, and it has these beautiful colors, and I just thought this would be a really fun way to end the day. This is how far I got in 2 hours listening to an audiobook. I actually started listening to Wuthering Heights so I could keep on getting through that story while I was working on the jigsaw puzzle. But you can see I got the border done. The border is complete. I just didn't have room to put it together, so I'll need to spread out a little bit to get it done. But I haven't done a puzzle in years, and this was so fun. So I'm definitely going to keep working on it. And I did get one little cat. I got Jupiter. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.